So you want to learn how to make money in real estate with no money. Well, my friend, you're in the right place. This is attorney Bob Diamond. I've been making money in real estate for many, many years. I started out with absolutely no money at all. And I can fill you in on the skinny on how you can make money in real estate with no money. And the good news is it is possible, but you have to use the right strategy. And be sure to stay until the end, because I'm going to tell you one surprising way at the end to make money that nobody thinks of, that you don't need to put up capital, costs very little to start, and you help people and you make a ton of money. You'll have a business you're proud of and you make a ton of money. So let's get right into it. So real estate is a business where you can make money with no money. And the reason I say that is that you can borrow based on the asset itself, meaning based on the real estate itself. And most real estate developers and entrepreneurs do not have all the money they need to do the business they're doing. So banks will lend money. There's another kind of lender called a private lender that can be very good. And there are also strategies you can use like wholesaling that are terrific ways to make money without money. So the first option I want to talk about is wholesaling. This can be a great way for you to start out. What you do as a wholesaler is you find amazing deals on properties and you turn that deal over to a person that does have the money to close in exchange for a fee. Now you might wonder, well, why would they pay you a fee? They pay you a fee because once you have that property under contract, they can't put it under contract and they can't get it. So they can pay you to take over your contract. And people do that because it's hard to find good deals. And it sounds like it might be so easy, like, oh, you call a realtor and just get good deals. You don't just call a realtor and get the kind of deals that you need as an investor. As an investor, if you're in the fix and flip business, you need 20 to 30% off retail minus your fix-up costs to have any hope of making any money. So it's not the kind of thing where you can walk into a realtor and say, oh, I want to pay 30% less than it's worth. And what do you got? And the realtor will tell you nothing because they're basically retail outlets. That'd be like going to Neiman Marcus and thinking that you're in the thrift store. It's just not the same thing. So generally speaking, it's a lot of value is brought and a lot of money is made by wholesalers because they have access to deals that otherwise the investor can't get. And if you're an investor who is well-funded and has money, then your only really holdup is finding enough good deals. So as a wholesaler, when you bring those good deals in, you can really make a lot of money. And basically the money you make is the difference between what someone's willing to pay, which is probably between 20 and 30% less than retail minus the fix-up, and what you have the property under contract for. So let's just say, for example, you had kind of average house in America, a $400,000 house. And let's say just for simplicity's sake, it doesn't need fix-up because it's easier to do the math. Well, if you got that for an investor, and let's say that you got it under contract for $300,000. Well, they would be willing to pay most likely $320,000 for it, about 20% under retail. So you could charge $20,000 for an assignment of that contract. You wouldn't put up any money, you would never go to settlement. You would just charge them $20,000 and you would assign the contract over to them. So the legal document is an assignment document. And basically they just step into your shoes, they go to settlement, they buy the property, they do whatever fix up, and then they resell it and they make that money. But you get paid upfront cash money for finding that deal and putting it together. Now, obviously, most of the deals are more complex than that. I'm telling you about that one for simplicity. Most deals are going to be properties that need fix up. They're going to be properties that are off market. They're not listed through realtors. And they're going to be properties you have under control because you got them under contract. So you're the one that has the right to control who's going to buy that property. And you're allowed to assign the contract, meaning give it to someone else and let them settle. Perfectly legal and perfectly something you can do. So wholesaling is really good because you don't have to buy the properties, you don't have to take out a mortgage, you don't have to get any money. Really is the classic business where you can make money without having money. It's sort of like being a real estate agent, except without the licensing and without sort of that infrastructure of retail. This is almost like being a wholesale real estate agent, but it's not a licensed occupation. It can be a really good way to get started. To get started, you really need to be good at finding the great deals, identifying them, pricing them correctly. So there's some people that do good courses on that where you can educate yourself and just need to network so you have the investors and then find the properties and link the two of them together and charge a fee and make money. Can be really good. It takes a lot of marketing chops to do it and a lot of effort to do it, but it can be a really good way to get started. After you build up some cash, then when you find a really great deal, maybe just keep one because you started to build up cash and build up some experience in the business. So that's one way to do it. Another way to do it is with Airbnb, where you're doing the lease option strategy. And what that means essentially is that instead of buying properties and then putting them on Airbnb or one of the other short-term rental platforms, instead you lease the property with the right to put it on Airbnb and sublet it. And of course, this is something you need to be careful of because you need to understand whether that's permitted in your area. Lots of big cities have pretty much done away with short-term rentals. Like New York City, for example, has pretty much done away with them. You can rent for 30 days or longer, but you can't rent for anything shorter than that. So it can be a really good way to get into the business where you don't have a lot of risk. You may be putting a little money up for a security deposit, but you can quickly get that money back because as soon as you put it on Airbnb or one of the other short-term rental platforms and you start getting some tenants in, you'll get your money back and you'll be able to do well. That's something that's great business. You've essentially become sort of a small hotel owner. And if you're good at customer service and you really educate yourself, it can be a really good business. And again, this is about educating yourself, not just wandering into it. So go to one of the better educators in that space and take some courses, go to some seminars, get up to speed with the way the business works, and you can do really well. And you can do some Google searches to learn who the better providers are. The last thing I want to tell you about is the business that I'm doing, which I think is just amazing. It's called the Overages Business. And that's a business where I help people who've lost properties to foreclosure get back money that's left over from that sale. And I know that might seem odd, but when a property sells for more than the amount that's owed, and this can happen at a tax sale, it can happen in a mortgage foreclosure sale, when it sells for more than the debt, that extra money is available for the former owner to claim. And former owners don't know about this. They have no idea they could be eligible or could claim any money. They think they've lost everything. So we get lists of people that are eligible to claim the money. We look up the contact information for the folks, and then we reach out to them and say, look, we found some money that you're eligible to claim. We're happy to help you with that. We'll get paid if and when we recover the money. We get a percentage. If we're not successful, it doesn't cost you anything. So it's really no risk to you. Would you be interested? And we sign up people every week, and we recover money for them for a percentage. And typically we're keeping 30 to 40% of what we recover, and it typically takes us a few months to get the money. It doesn't take cash to run this business because we're not buying the liens or the claims. Instead, we're just letting the people know that there's money available, and if they want to work with us, we're happy to go get it. So we just provide the service of getting that money. So we're not investing money, we're investing time and effort. Really great business, can be very profitable. I think it's a wonderful business. We help people who lost everything get back some money, get back some dignity, and get started over in life. So good business for you if you want to start in something that you don't have to put up money, where you're willing to make some effort and really want to do well. So if you want to know more about that, I did a video that's like 15, maybe 20 minutes long called an Introduction to the Overages Business, where I really step you through what the opportunity is and help you identify if this is a business for you. I do education in this space, so if you decide you want to go forward, I'm happy to teach you all the ins and outs of the business. But the way to start is a short video just introducing you to the business and see if it's for you. And I think if you're a sort of good-hearted person that like a business where you help people, then I think it's a good business. And you need to be willing to do some effort. It's not an effort-free business, but definitely one of the easier businesses. And I've been doing it for over 10 years. Absolutely love the business. There are many, many tax sales. There are about 3,000 tax sales each and every day in America. So tons of sales, tons of leads, tons of people to help, and really, really good business for good-hearted people. So I put a link down below to my Introduction to the Overages Business video. Click on that now, and I'll see you over there. This is Attorney Bob Diamond. Click on the link down below now, and I'll see you over at the Intro to the Overages video.